Hi there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of tiny and unique homes and showcase stories of people living alternatively. In this week's episode, we're returning to Escalante Tiny House Village in Durango, Colorado. And this time we're gonna meet a couple of empty nesters who decided to downsize into a tiny house and have since found a sense of freedom and community. Ken and Laurel talk about their experience working with a builder to design their forever home and elaborate on how they have learned to appreciate the simplicity of tiny living without compromise. But before we jump right into the tour, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we publish a new episode.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Hi, I'm Ken Schrang.
And I'm Laurel Schrang.
Welcome to our tiny house. We knew we wanted to downsize from our suburban home once the kids left.
I wanted a house built for us. We planned on living here for quite a while. We planned on being able to close it up to travel. And I didn't want to just have someone in their backyard building our home that we were going to be in.
And I think having someone like, Greg of Rocky Mountain Tiny Home, giving his educational background, his practical experience, etc., was a really big part of getting a positive outcome.
And as far as the cost, our goal had been around $100,000. And I would say when all was said and done, we spent more than that. You know, I bought some of the best appliances. That added, but we also spent it on things that I felt would give us return.
We moved into the tiny house in October of 2020, so it'll be 3 years.
Living in a tiny house community, when we sit outside here, everyone waves hello. That was important. It's a nice community. We just weren't comfortable with the idea of moving into a quote-unquote senior environment where you had to be a certain age. It's giving us more freedom, and in this particular case, it's given us a community. Welcome to the outside of our home. It's 10 feet wide. It's 32 feet long. The cedar on top has been stained 3 times by the lovely me because I was the one that needed to be the way I wanted to look. And I felt the yellow and then the green rooftop just makes me feel like I'm at the beach. And at the same time, across the street, I'm at the mountains. One thing that we did do is because we get a lot of rain, our windows mostly pop out because you can open them in the rain and the rain doesn't go in your house. Our water heaters and our water, when winter comes, that cord gets turned on and it keeps all the pipes warm enough so we've never ever had the pipes freeze. I'd really like to talk to you about our outdoor space, not just a porch. Having vegetable gardens in every house that I ever owned is very important to me and my happiness. And so I didn't feel that living tiny would take that away from me. There's probably about 10 or 12 tomato plants, and in the back I have more herbs. So think about your whole space when you're moving into a tiny house. It can bring you a lot of pleasure. And good eating, because my husband loves to cook. One of the other things that we had to learn, because this was not in our vocabulary, is that tiny houses are run off propane. And the propane for us is we have a gas stove, not an electric one, and we also have an instant water heater that needs gas to keep that running. With the 240 pounds, we basically can go anywhere from 5 to 6 months. And this was on the advice of our builder. Our split is probably 30 or 40% bigger than what you traditionally see. Because of this, we've never had any problems. Our house stays very cool in the summer and hot in the winter. After we got moved in, We were fortunate enough that there was a deck builder in our community. So this gave us a whole nother room to live in. This outdoor space is really important to us. We sit out here a lot. I have some other chairs I can bring up when neighbors come by. I love to barbecue, and we can only do a gas grill in most tiny house communities. We probably grill 2 or 3 times a week when we're home. It just keeps the heat out of your tiny home, but it also makes some delicious food. So come with me now and let's check out the inside of the house. I'd like to welcome you to the inside of our tiny house. But before I get started, I'd like to show you one of my favorite things, and it's this door. Oftentimes you're looking for ventilation and more air. Well, with this door, I take this, I bring down the stained glass. Now what do? Well, you pull down a screen, and there you go. You have air coming in from the outside, and any air circulation you can get is a bonus in a tiny home. I always call this my great room. It's half the size of our tiny house, so it's about 9 by 16, 17. And we both love to watch TV at times. One is sports and one is movies. So our big TV came with us. So another thing that we both really like about the house is our tall ceilings. As you can see, there's no loft. We did not want a ceiling in here that, was a foot above us. We wanted that open space, we wanted the fan, and so we kept it as tall as we could, and it's about 14 feet from the ground outside, which is the maximum you can have to put something on the road. As we've said, we come from a traditional home, large in size, and over the years we've collected a lot of art. So what we've done now is we take our favorite pieces and we switch them once or twice a year. We do have a storage area because we probably have about 25 signed pieces of art. And we just move them. Every time you come in, you feel like you're in a new room or a new house. And we love the pictures so much that even having pictures that you've kept can make you feel good about yourself. Let's check out the kitchen. My husband loves to cook. He's a great cook. He doesn't charge anyone, but he's a great cook. And so it was very important to us that we had appliances that work. The Bosch is a European brand. It's 24 wide, but it also in the freezer has an ice maker. Sometimes those things are important. They are very important in our life to have an ice maker all year round. And then as you come around, right next to it is our Bosch 24-inch dishwasher. You don't want to be doing dishes in the sink all the time. A microwave and a 4-burner stove and a complete oven. It's a space that is wide enough that 2 people can be in here at the same time. And that was really important to us also. I could be making my salad, he can be cooking the main course, and dinner is served. Another thing we did is we kept our cabinets at a certain level so that I could display some family pictures and my glass work that we've collected around the world in our travels. Blown glass, to me, is one of the nicest forms of art there can be, so that was important. Originally, the window was for a couple plants. That didn't work out for me as well. So I moved some other pieces in. This one's from Amsterdam, that one's from Australia. We were fortunate enough to have these little trips, and wherever I went, I tried to meet the local artist. Take what's really important and try to add that to your house. Why don't we move on to the other side of the house and look at the bathroom. A lot of tiny houses don't have full bathrooms. I'd have to say we do. We have a full sink and then still some space on the other side. The mosaic comes with us from when we lived outside Seattle, and it's been with us for 30 years now. One of the things I always noticed in a tiny home, there just wasn't a space for your cosmetics, shampoos. So he built this. We have 3 shelves, and I put things in each shelf. Got our own little caddies. As we come to the toilet, this is a traditional toilet. We're hooked up to the sewer. I kind of like that. No composting for me. The other thing I always noticed is people had just single washer and dryers. This GE is European, and it's 24-inch, a regular washer and a regular dryer. And what makes this dryer so good is that it vents to the outside. If you don't put a dryer in that vents, you can't get any real drying from your clothes. So if we go next to it now, Ken has a closet. So again, we've used every inch of this bathroom. The ceiling's still pretty tall, so he put in some storage up here. I think we all know how important that word storage is, so we did. And then I had someone come in, and I wanted it to look like a rainfall of tile on the back wall. It's plenty big enough for a shower. The floor is rocks, which I thought was perfect for where we live, and we hike on the rocks. Most of the design you see were my ideas. I just was given the right opportunity to see things in our town, and that's what we ended up with. Now, before I go any further, the one thing I thought was important, there's only 3 steps. So this is not a loft, this is just 3 stairs to our bedroom. We wanted at least a queen-size bed, and we wanted to walk around it. When the floor plans came out at first, that was a straight wall. When we did the dimensions for a queen-size bed, I made it clear to him that I was not going to climb over Ken to get into bed. The light bulb went off in his head, so what the builder did is he popped out at the headboard to give us enough space so that I could walk around the front of the bed. Gave us reading lights there, and then gave me, he didn't want another closet, a full closet for clothes, shirts, and almost anything I need all the way down. Underneath our bed, there's 3 more drawers on both sides. This floor right here is the ceiling to the bathroom where the sink is. And he brought that out because he said you don't need a ceiling to the top there, and put this in so that we could hook up the TV. We really gain about 3 feet, and it's only the portion where the sink is. It's not the whole bathroom. The other thing we made sure of, that there was another ceiling fan. And this is the identical ceiling fan in our living room. We both can sit up and we're not going to get hit by the fan. We had big homes, we had a lot of clothes, we had, anything you would have thought from a couple that's been together for 40 years. But you have to be willing to give up things that just are not important day to day.
Your life's not about stuff. Your life's about family, friends, experiences, events, and to free yourself to be able to do whatever you want when you want.
But there's nothing in my near future getting rid of our tiny house at all.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. If you'd like to see a tour of Escalante Tiny House Village or tours of other tiny houses on the property, make sure that you check out the links in the description, and I will see you soon with another unique home tour.